The only time I'm safe is when I'm dangerous. Posted in the 30 with this 30, trying to leave them brainless. We still in the jets, exactly where them boys say we ain't hanging. Put cheese on my head, I come collect that shit, you think I'm playing. Trouble hop out bustin' at it, brother miss you know I'm hitting. We got O's and Bo's in here and we got wood cook in the kitchen. If I say go get them, they go get them, young boy fingers itching. Fingers squeezing on the trigger, they heard all them glitches. Money man, I run it up, if I fall off I'm poking shit. Told that bitch quit asking questions, I hate all that notice shit. We send shots the whole year round, no ring around the road and shit. My little bro, he makes it vanish, he with hocus pocus shit. Chopper bust, they hit the ground, it's too many sticks around. We known to get greasy, pussy, don't you have your bitch around. Switch up on this bitch, I catch him deep, get a whole click around. Put us in the midst of shit that we ain't do, we spinning now. Bitch keep trying to tell me slide, think she trying to set the pick. Other hoes been tripping, texting my bitch on that messy shit. Left a bro out there with his brains out, yeah that's that messy shit. Bought another Glock, let's catch a op so I can test the bitch.
What's good, everybody? Good morning, man. Good morning. I'm still a little bit on the wheezy side. Got a little bit of drunk last night for 4th of July, so I'm like lucky. I'm hungover a little bit. But we're going to make it through this, y'all. How are y'all doing, man? We got 5 people in the building already. Okay, we're going to talk about a few things this morning. We're going to talk about the locals. We're going to talk about Diddy. We're going to talk about a lot. Quit bothering me, bro. Hold on a second, y'all. Sorry, everyone. Salute, Spider-Man. Salute, salute, salute. Did you see the last video Net Stars did? We'll get into it. Don't worry. We'll get into it. But we're going to talk about what's next for Diddy, y'all. What is coming down the line for Diddy? Let's see here. You unsubbed? I did too. But I still go back and look. I still like to go back and look, you know. Hey, what's up, Chicky? Nah, he didn't mention you. He was talking about Diddy, but it was like I told y'all that every content that I've ever done, the very next thing he done is what I do. So it's like then he starts, well, everybody's talking about this. It's like, okay, but you didn't have to. Okay. Like, and then you didn't even know anything about it. You just was blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what the fuck? Okay, bro. Okay. Damn it. Took us out of it, y'all. See if it take it back to us. Probably not. Yeah, he might as well just give it up, bro. It was corny, and he's trying to copy you. That's stalker material right there. I think so too, but you know, I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that because if it makes me feel weird. It puts me in a place like, man, is this motherfucker really like gay? Is he gay? Is he gay? All right, so we're going to bring in Sidebar, which is Law and Crime Network. And we're going to talk about what happens next for Diddy. Then we're going to move along to you, Tubblard.
Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens.
Diddy may have been acquitted of
Aren't
some
you
pretty
guys
big
happy to
charges
live
at
in
his
America?
criminal
What's
trial,
up, Wookie?
but he still was convicted.
Aren't you guys happy to live in America? For real, for real. And happy birthday, Lucky. We made it through another year, baby. We made it through another year. Good morning to everyone.
Too. So what's next for him in terms of sentencing, his finances, facing a wave of lawsuits, including a brand new one from a former exotic dancer who claims Diddy drugged and assaulted him, caused him to lose teeth and have to get gastric surgery? We're going to talk about it all right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
See, the funny thing is, people are now suing Cassie, bro. People are suing Cassie now for getting on the stand and lying about them. These sex workers, oh yeah, they're suing Cassie, bro. They are suing Cassie now. See, this is the shit you get yourself wrapped up into, thinking like no one else will get in it. No one else. Yeah, okay.
Hey everybody, this is another Law and Crime legal alert. If you received Depo-Provera birth control shots and were later diagnosed with a brain or for all of this, let me bring on former sex crimes prosecutor and criminal defense attorney, the great Matt Murphy is with us. Matt, good to see you.
James,
Happy to be here,
salute.
Got to ask you your reaction to the verdict. Is it what you expected?
Well, hearkening back to, I don't know, we were talking about this, you and I, a couple of months ago, and I got to say, you know, whether it's fun to be right or not in a case like this, we're both right. This was never a good fit for Rico for a lot of different reasons. And the consent element regarding the sex trafficking was always problematic. And I thought the prosecution here did a good job presenting their case. They did a good job presenting their theory. But when you match in a
We have
trial
started to
context,
go
when you
to show
match
AD
like
some love.
professorial and
You
kind of
don't want
plotting,
to, that's
which
fine.
is the
You
way
do not
a lot
have
of
to. You do not have to donate to this channel. We love you anyway.
government lawyers are, versus dynamic and engaging and that personality of the defense. It's always a mismatch. You're always up against it. And the Mann Act, like we talked about, I thought he was going down on that after like the second day of testimony. The problem is for the prosecution, the Mann Act is a very old law, and it was essentially legislative morality from about 100 years ago, where it was transporting prostitutes across state lines. The intent may have been good. It was essentially a very early version of sex trafficking, but it was really more an attempt to stop prostitution, which is, as we know, never going to happen. So almost every lonely guy in New York City who's going through a divorce, who is having a problem in the dating pool, who has some sex worker drive over from New Jersey, if he buys her Uber or his Uber, theoretically, that's a violation of the Mann Act. So that is it's not the same type of crime. There's no mandatory minimum under federal law. The judge does not have to.
That.
Right. They don't have to. Now, it carries up to 10 years per event. So he faces up to 20 years. The prosecution, I think, is asking for 46 months or something like that. They're asking for far less than that.
If the case was, if they had called, let's say, Christina Corum,
what's up, man?
Chief of staff, who had been mentioned, I think, by almost every witness, and she said, hey, listen, there was a criminal enterprise, okay? We were all a part of it. Everybody knew what the job description was. My job was to do this. His job was to do this. You think they would have gotten racketeering? If they didn't include Jane, who was arguably the more problematic testimony, I mean, Sean Combs still paying her rent, messages that she was setting up a lot of these sexual encounters. Cassie had messages too that were problematic that showed
Very
We're talking about whether
problematic.
she was a willing participant or not. But if you focus just on Cassie and you didn't call in Jane, or you didn't call in Amia, or you didn't call in a Brianna Bengolan, if you limited the case, and now it's so easy to play, Monday morning quarterback or armchair lawyer here. But do you feel that the prosecution could have won this case if they structured it differently, if they called different witnesses?
That's a great question, and that's something that these prosecutors will literally be wondering for the rest of their lives, for the rest of their careers. They're going to be wondering if they'd done it differently, would the impact upon the jury and would the result have been different. The fundamental problem, I think, is that this was kind of always a round peg in a square hole. The arson, that domestic violence video that we all watched, that's horrific. All of that should have been prosecuted as state crimes in Los Angeles.
Yes.
That as a fundamental
Every bit
starting
of them.
point.
Every bit of them should have probably been prosecuted. But the fact is, they held that tape. They held that.
Well, they couldn't do it now. It was
They
time barred.
No, of course, the statute is run on everything.
Yep.
But that would have been, he would have been prosecuted for exactly what he did instead of predicate acts into a RICO theory. Now, RICO, as we know, was designed for essentially mafia organization, for organized crime. And the idea is simply because there's a legitimate business, like in The Godfather, they had a legitimate olive oil importing business, and that was but it was still a criminal enterprise. The real thing was the mafia. The real thing was the organized crime surrounding the Corleone family, to use an example that everybody can probably relate to. So simply because their olive oil importing business was legitimate, that's not a defense to a RICO thing. That's the current state of the law. What they did here is they took a business that was always legitimate, Bad Boy Records, that was always and the purpose is to make music and make money. Everything surrounded that. And the defense argument, which they obviously argued very effectively, was that is not a criminal enterprise. So the very first element of RICO has always been problematic from the very beginning. You and I talked about that 2 months ago when this whole thing started. And and the jury, this was a sober jury that the questions were serious and direct. And, they sent that note out regarding juror 25 right at the very beginning saying, hey, this guy's not deliberating. And so this was a serious group. And the Mann Act, they did convict on that. So they were, by the fact that that it was unanimous, meant that they were getting along. Federal juries tend to be, in California anyway, we have, they draw our state juries off the DMV database. That's how you get jury duty, is from the DMV. Federally, it's based on voter rules. So it's people who are conscientious enough to actually vote. And you tend to get a more serious class of juror in federal court, which I think
state jurors, they get voted into the jury pool, or you'll get a letter in the mail about appearing for jury duty just because you went to the BMV and got a license, or because you went and got a state ID. But federal jury duty is because you voted and they know where you are.
It's interesting. So to answer your question, it's something that we could kick around for years.
Sure.
But I think the fundamental problem here is that it was always kind of a misfit for a RICO theory. Just like the sex trafficking, sex trafficking requires fraud, force, or coercion, right? So that essentially is the same elements of rape. So you essentially, it's transporting somebody under circumstances that equate to rape. Is something forceful, something fearful. That it just doesn't fit very well here, especially when you're talking about all these people who they're orbiting him. They're all trying to advance their own career. And when the defense attorney got up and said, Cassie got $30 million as a result of her settlement, right? And that was a big move.
Yeah, I wasn't sold for that personally, because I was like, the prosecution came back and be like, she already settled. What's her incentive to come here and lie? What's her incentive to be a part of this? And that for me. But I think the messages, the conduct that arguably contradicts someone being a victim, and I know there's complicated factors between an abuser and a victim, trauma. I get it. I totally understand it. But I wonder if that's what saddle the jury. Okay, I want to move past the verdict because now we have to talk about what's happening next. First thing, when the sentencing hearing is going to happen. So they have this hearing next week about whether to expedite the sentencing happening before October 3rd. If both sides agree, great. If they don't, what is a compelling legal argument for the defense to say, we want this sentencing to happen much sooner?
Well, I mean, we know that behind the scenes, what they want, of course, is they expect a chance that he's going to be released. So that's their big motivating factor, of course. Whether the court abides by that, I mean, it is a substantial change in circumstance. He was acquitted of all of these serious charges, right?
But he was just denied bail. He was denied bail again.
He was denied bail again, and I actually learned that on your segment yesterday afternoon as I was sort of doing my preparation for this. But we have to remember that one of the things that he got in trouble for, that Diddy got in trouble for in jail, was using other inmates' calling number. Remember that? So he was calling witnesses in the case from jail using other inmates. That was a direct affront to that judge. That was remember, we had all those attempts at bail that were denied at the very beginning of the case, one after another after another. This judge, and it's the same judge who's going to sentence him, denied that over and over again. And you and I, again, in another conversation we had on your show, we both said he is screwed now, that he's got no chance because he's violating the rules of the court while in jail. So if he's disobeying the rules of the jail and the directive of the court while he's in custody, how can he be expected to actually follow the terms of a bail agreement when he's out of custody?
Right.
And I think that chicken is coming home to roost again. I mean, I think that's what happened yesterday afternoon. That any judge who has a criminal defendant who behaves like that is an affront to the court itself. It's disrespectful to the court. And it's almost like he couldn't get out of his own way there at the beginning. But he had an excellent defense team.
He does. So assuming for a moment, whenever the sentencing hearing happens, right? Let's say it happens in a month from now. Let's say it has October 3rd. The question is, what's his sentence? As we mentioned,
I think
the prosecution...
I think he'll be sentenced in June. I honestly do. Because most of the time when a judge says, no, I'm not going to release him on bail, but I'll give you an expedited time before then to have an early bail hearing. That's usually because the judge wants to insert his power and say, no, you ain't going home now, but let's wait a month, see how you act. Then we'll see if you can go home. And almost 99.99% of the time, you get your early bail hearing and you bail out. Now, this is Fed. I don't know. I've never done Fed time. Never been in Fed court. Never done anything federally wrong. Knock on wood.
Filing from yesterday talked about the guidelines range being 51 to 63 months. Now, this is before a pre-sentencing investigation and report. Now, the defense, right, they want 21 months. He's already served almost 10. Talk to us about what you're thinking here, because there is no minimum. The maximum's 10. You've the
no minimum
together, like you said, 20 years. Feels highly unlikely that would happen. As we're talking, what is a pre-sentencing report investigation?
No minimum. No minimum means that Diddy's not going to have to serve any jail time, which means if he would have got caught, bailed out, he would still be facing no time to a maximum of something. So once he does a pre-sentence investigation and they find out you've never been in trouble, you've never had a felony, oh, you've only got a couple traffic tickets, well, then points are going to go way down.
Investigation, how would it affect this? What do you think the judge is going to do? There's so many different factors to consider here, and it's not like a murder case when it's like, okay, we know what's going to happen. It's like life in prison without the possibility of parole. It's a given. There's room here. What do you think the judge is going to do?
So in federal court, this is actually very interesting. They rely very heavily on those pre-sentencing investigations. So essentially what will happen is there'll be a federal probation officer, and they do these for almost every case.
They rely too heavily on those PSIs, pre-sentence investigation. They relied too heavily. Those motherfuckers can lie. Dude, they were shit in my pre-sentence investigation that wasn't even true. They had to do 2 of them. I go into court with my PSI. They done got so much shit wrong. I'm like, hold up. They're like, okay, well, you'll have to sit another month to do a PSI. I'm like, son of a bitch. But you don't want them to have the wrong things.
Investigation where they'll talk to family members, they'll talk to employers, they'll talk to neighbors, and they will make a recommendation to the court as to suitability for release, suitability for time. And that's something that federal judges traditionally really adhere to. They tend to put a lot of weight on those, far more than they do in state court. The probation department can make a recommendation, but the DA will certainly have more ability most of the time to talk a judge in or out of a sentencing recommendation from the probation department. Federal court is different. They really put a lot of weight on those. So that's something that I think is going to be very interesting. And a lot of that will come down to what the individuals involved in that investigation, even though it shouldn't impact their professional recommendation. It's really, I think we're going to see what they thought of the case. Did they think he got away with something horrific here? Did they think that he was getting railroaded from the beginning? I think that may reflect in the recommendation to the court. But of course, we don't know what that is yet. I don't know. If I'm his defense lawyer, I don't know if I am pressing the gas on that, trying to make this thing go faster. I mean, it's coming up soon enough anyway. I would want to give them the time and not press them, because you don't want to.
Yeah, it's like 3
probation
days
officer
away, bro.
or anybody in the federal system to feel like they're being rushed,
Right.
because I think it's very easy to just go, okay,
Yeah.
screw it, the guy should stay in.
The prosecution made the
Those
point
guys just
yesterday. They said the point, like, we're not ready to give a really sentencing recommendation. We haven't gotten the report. There's people say, well, maybe he'll get time served, right? He's been locked up. There's other people say, no, the judge is going to throw the book at him, even though the judge said yesterday, even though I'm denying him bail and I'm looking at certain conditions, this is not reflective or a preview of what my sentencing recommendation or what my sentence will be. But, are we looking at double digits? Are we looking, you think, at 1 to 5 years time served? I know it's so impossible.
I see 5 being the max, man. If he does get any time, I see 5 being the max. Suspend. Fuck, I don't even see him doing anything.
But it is a very specific charges he was convicted of.
I don't.
Yeah, we're not looking at double digits.
Okay.
I cannot imagine the court imposing that. And remember,
especially when he's alleged that he's done all these crimes, right? He's alleged that he's did this. He alleged that he did that. But in the state of Indiana, if I go from the east side to the west side and I pick me up a prostitute and I drive her from the west side to the east side, guess what? That's still just engaging in prostitution. It's a misdemeanor crime that they're probably not even going to arrest you on. You'll give you a little ticket to appear in court. But here Diddy is facing up to 20 fucking years for it. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he did beat all the other shit. But yeah, here Diddy is with just simple prostitution facing up to 20 fucking years.
Is so old, and we're in
Think
an age
about
of
it.
Uber. So literally, somebody in New York City, a man or a woman who engages the services of a sex worker who lives in New Jersey, and if they pay for their Uber, that technically is a Mann Act violation. Okay, so it's a morality crime, and that it just does not carry the same weight.
Will the judge say, hey, listen, multiple instances he was doing it, not one Uber, he was doing it multiple times. You have 2 alleged victims here, Cassie, Jane, and violence, right? He used violence as one of the reasons to deny him bail. I wonder if he's going to look at, even though he was acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking, different characteristics and components of his relationships with Jane and Cassie and say, this is aggravated.
It's a very interesting question. Can the court aggravate nonviolent offenses that he was convicted of, which are the Mann Act violations? Can he aggravate those when he was acquitted of the more serious charges, essentially acquitted of everything that involved violence, threats, all of that sort of thing? So It's a very, very interesting legal question.
Real quick, asset forfeiture. What is that exactly? How would it work with Mann Act convictions?
I just don't see the feds having it being on very strong ground to seize a bunch of assets. And here's why, Jesse. Most of the federal cases where you have, especially RICO cases, an actual RICO case is an actual corrupt organization that the purpose is. Like I had one in Salt Lake City last year. It was a fraud case where it was one of these calling room scam operations. Every dollar that they made in that, they made out of the bank account of some poor innocent victim who got scooped up in their scheme. So every dollar,
Oh, hold on.
everything they bought, every
Could
car,
that
every
be
house,
LH Securities? Could you mean LH Securities?
everything that they owned was a direct result of money that they gleaned from innocent people. Those are the cases, or narcotics. We see this all the time in narcotics cases where but it's the same principle. All the things that they have are a result of narcotics profits, right? So when you look at one of those
Happy
cases, you're seizing assets.
Saturday.
Here we've got mansions all over the place. We've got planes. This is a very, very wealthy man
I'm gonna go
who
sit
made
by the
that
pool
money
today. Fuck it.
legitimately in Bad Boy Records, in the music industry, and in the film industry. That's how he made his money, and that is not a product. And that's where we come full circle to this square peg and round hole regarding a RICO theory on this. The money, he didn't make any money from the freak offs. He didn't make any money from all of the alleged things he did. He didn't make any money from that horrible video that we saw where he's beating Cassie in that hotel. That's not the source of his income. So I think, again, I don't think that the feds or even the court, I don't think the court would look kindly on that. And there's an old adage in the law that you and I've talked about before. Bad facts make bad law, right? And if they run around and try to seize a bunch of stuff based on this, they're literally taking assets from a citizen that earned them legally. He may be a villain, he may be a bully, he may be a horrible person, but he made that money legally. He was not charged here with tax fraud, which means he paid taxes on it. He, you know, he's
legal's legal, bro.
You know, so I don't
Legal
see this judge
is legal.
I think it'd be a very poor move if they try to take a bunch of his stuff. I think that they still have to create a nexus between the Mann Act violations and his property, and I just don't see it.
I don't see it. Okay, well, he might need the money. Why? Because he's got a plethora of civil lawsuits that he's facing now. By the way, in fact, Tenny Garagos had something to say about that yesterday.
Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. I've been saying this for months. We've said it with each lawsuit that came out, and today that was proven true. The media got it wrong about Sean Combs every single day for nearly 2 years. I ask that for every time you guys see a civil lawsuit, criminal complaints or criminal indictments, you actually take a look and analyze these and see whether or not these are actually going to stand up in a court of law, because today they did not.
So Sean Combs, he is facing dozens of sexual assault lawsuits.
Dozens, y'all. Dozens. He's got lawsuits over him. I guess he's got new crimes that he could be appearing for. All that. All of that. But let's move into old net stars here. Let's see this. Let's see what Tubelard's doing today. Well, or not yesterday, because I didn't go live. I don't go live. He don't go live.
In fact, Vulture.
I go live. He goes live. Imagine that, y'all.
Women.
Imagine that. How do I shut this thing up? Seriously. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear your intro song 1,000 times, bro. The brethren. Let me fucking go to it without hearing the goddamn music, bro. I don't want to hear every fucking page. Jesus Christ. Let me pause it. Pause. Okay. There we go. Okay, that's net stars. On his main page, he got 44 views. Let's see what the React page got. On his main page, 44 views. On his React page, 88 views. His main page, on his main page, he got 44 views. On his React page, he got 88. You guys want to see? I want to hear that song. Stop, stop, stop. You guys want to hear him do what I do? Let's hear it. Y'all want to hear it with me? Here it go. Y'all want to hear it with me? Here it go. Let's see. First of all, do Cassie need to run that back to Diddy? That would be, does Cassie need to run that money back to Diddy? Does Cassie need to run that money back to Diddy? And see, if you would knew about this case, who the fuck? Sorry, I'm talking to my coworkers. He's pissed. One of the dudes that works up under me, he's always been yelling about his teammate or whatever. I guess it's the teammate, or you want to call it, not holding his own. And then he's like, "Well, he holds my own when I'm here." I'm like, "I don't know why he holds your own when no boy's not here." And then he showed me a picture of it. He's like, he got him done this time. I'm like, all right, bro. I'm at home. Quit bothering me. Quit bothering me, man. Quit bothering me.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, once you get around a real one, don't play with it. When it comes to them strings, clouding.
Also, I want you to understand how many times he name drops during this video. He name drops during this video. Big time.
Brain, baby, I'ma stay with it. Rolled up, but she can't hit it, cause my habits is way different. Mac Drake said we don't like a skinny, so I gotta put an ace in it. Just trying to show her a good time. Usually she don't date niggas. Her friends group is some ratchet hoes. Always screaming how they hate niggas. Trust me, I understand that. The mother suckers ain't me though. Kick back and free your mind with this high quality weed smoke. Let me set the mood right so we can start romancing. Underneath the moonlight, got my jewelry dancing. Stewie in the P coming.
but I got my eye. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this happening.
Keep my composure.
What's happening? What's happening, y'all? Yeah, we in the building. You know what it is. I'm doing this late night stuff, man, because I am on a whole nother schedule, whole nother bag chasing moment. You know what I'm saying? And I like this schedule, man. I like it's just me. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for anybody to really come through unless I want them to come through, unless they're invited. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really obvious to hit you with the pew pew if you're up here trying to troll or whatever the case is, you know. But I got my eye on you. Yeah, I wanted to man give my guy Stewie a shout out, man. He got that new release. That was the one I just played, man, for him.
Hold on, I'll keep going. Hold on.
Man. I'm gonna be pushing that hard, you know what I'm saying? The whole fucking album is a cold piece, man, a quality piece of work. And he getting a lot of
That was quality? I'm not up here to dog nobody.
Moving heavyweight major niggas ain't got no game like they never played Sega. Yeah, I hear them light threats, they a featherweight danger. I was really outside, they ain't never sprayed banger. It's just me, no cosign, just one me. Save the wifey talk, you just tryna fuck me. I'm married to the game, I shoot the 40 while on one knee. Come see, went from street fighter to a young.
positive reviews over here in the north. But I got my eye on you.
Yeah, you got your
Yeah, I
mouth
wanted
covered
to
up too because you didn't have your teeth in.
man, give my guy Stewie a shout out, man. He got that new release. That was the one I just played, man, for him, man. I'm gonna be pushing that hard, you know what I'm saying? The whole fucking album is a cold piece, man, a quality piece of work. Views over here in the Northwest. And that's what can I say, man? These are my day ones, my real day ones. You know what I mean? No matter what, they ain't going nowhere, and neither am I, man. Um, we got some things coming down on the calendar, man. As you guys, some of you guys who know who may be somewhat connected, 7-4 day is tomorrow also. July 4th. Man, y'all watch out, man. Man, keep your head on a swivel. Because people like to make moves on them type of days. I always was leery about them type of days. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to share something to you with
7-4 day. 7-4 gangster GD Crip. Vice Lord. 7-4. 7-4 11-16, homie.
before we get into this content, man, about my heritage, man. These are one of like the biggest financial days for the tribes here in the coastal area, man, as far as like, generating a bunch of money, especially in one night or let's say in a 24-hour period, because we're like the only ones who could legally sell, high power fireworks.
The Indians are the only ones allowed to sell fireworks, guys. The Indians. The Indians are the only ones allowed to sell fireworks. No one else can sell fireworks, just the Indians. Fireworks are banned. Anything that leaves the ground is banned in my state, but you can surely go buy it at any fireworks store. You know it's totally legal to sell any firework you want, but it's on the consumer if they light it or not. You know it's totally legal for anyone to sell fireworks. Anyone. I don't know. Here in Indiana, you can go get a big firework anywhere you want, any place that'll sell them. Big, small, little, tall, it don't matter. It's on the consumer that buys it and lights it and sets it off. It's not on the person that sells it. That's how they get away with it.
High-powered shit that blows some shit up. You know what I mean? The kind of shit grown folks like to listen to. They like to see, where it's just lighting up the sky. You basically putting on your own fireworks show like the city would do or something. That's the kind of shit we got, right? And there's I'd say there's about 10 tribes right around this area. So, of course, everybody got action at them. And,
And the funny thing is, fireworks aren't even made here. Fireworks aren't even made here. The vast majority of fireworks, both for consumer use and professional displays, are manufactured in China. While there are other countries that also produce fireworks, China's dominance in the industry is significant, with estimates suggesting it accounts for 99% of consumer fireworks and 90% of professional display fireworks. Yeah, you can. I live in a state where fireworks aren't supposed to leave the ground, but you can still buy fireworks that leave the ground. They all come from China. So what?
To take them off res and go light them up, but what can I say? So this is a big financial day for us. We're going to make some money. And I'm going to tell you a secret, man. You know what we used to say? We hope you blow yourselves up. We want our land back.
You hear this dumbass shit? You hear this cornball shit? We hope you blow yourself up. We hope you blow yourself up. Because we want our land back. You think somebody blowing themselves up with a firework's going to get your land back? But I thought you were a Muslim. Don't Indians believe in the stars? They don't believe in a God like we do, right? Surely not. I know your ass didn't go back to a fucking Indian reservation saying you're a Muslim. I guarantee you that. I know you ain't done that. Ain't no way you've ever went back to a fucking Indian reservation and said, I left and became Muslim. Can I still be the chief? Well, there ain't no chief.
A lot of people be saying I hope they blow themselves up.
I hope they blow themselves up.
It's just a joke, but it's come on, man. How else can you accept the fact that none of this shit is ours, One thing I know, my cousins, they were Puyallups, right, which is a big tribe here in the Northwest, and they have the most, I'd have to say, most beneficial casino on the I-5 corridor. Now, the I-5 corridor goes up from Canada all the way down to fucking California, all the way down there, right? And that I-5 corridor brings all type of people, man. So they got these casinos called the Emerald Queen Casino. But right outside in the parking lots right now,
I want you guys to do me a favor. If any of you have like a counter, like you could pull up a counter on your phone. But I want you to count how many times this guy name drops all through this video.
they blowing shit up. They blowing shit up.
Did you guys see that
You gotta come
explosion?
up in there
I
with your
think it
head
was in.
like you're holding your ears.
It was in California. It was in California. 7 people hadn't been found. Let's see if I can find it, man. Yeah. Human remains located after fireworks warehouse explosion. Yeah, a firework factory went up, y'all. Did you guys see that shit, man? It blew up like 7 buildings. 7 people they could not find 7 people while they was putting the fire out. So they had to wait for it to be fully put out before they could go in and start looking for these people. And now they found the human bones. They found people. They've got 7 people remain unaccounted for, 2 injured. Well, that was 3 days ago. Let's go the 15 hours ago. Human remains discovered days after devastating California fire explosion. Look at this shit, bro. Of course, we'll get an ad first. Who would have thought the ad would come?
A determined search is underway in Northern California. 7 people are missing after
Salute,
a
dog.
powerful explosion at a fireworks warehouse. The blast destroyed a building, sparked wildfires, and forced local officials to cancel Independence Day celebrations. Jeff Paul has the latest from Los Angeles. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Mike. Well, authorities on scene continue looking for 7 people who are unaccounted for in the aftermath of that massive explosion. And because so many cities throughout the Bay Area, like San Jose, stored their pyrotechnics at that very warehouse, many are now either modifying, postponing, or altogether canceling their fireworks shows. Now, the massive explosions erupting at that California pyrotechnics warehouse on Wednesday. Firefighters got calls for explosions and fires, and shortly after they responded, there was a massive fireball. As the warehouse seemingly detonated, the fire and explosions were so strong, first responders had to pull back, even forcing some to evacuate.
Our objective is to make the area safe so that we can continue to bring more crews in. Over the evening and into the morning, we've had several more responders moving into the area, and our operation is starting to get a little larger as that area has become a little bit safer.
That warehouse explosion was only the start of several other California fireworks explosions. One person was killed in Simi Valley after witnesses reported hearing fireworks that then sparked a fire at a house. Elsewhere in the LA area, one woman was seriously injured after fireworks that were being stored inside a home ignited, setting off a massive fire. It took more than one.
And y'all seen what happened to Faux Extra? Faux Extra lost a fucking hand too, bro. He was running around on his story talking about I'm gonna blow up. He got these two M80 style fucking fireworks holding him in his hand, running around. Who wants to get their ass blown up tonight? I'm gonna blow you motherfuckers up. Yeah, I'm gonna blow you motherfuckers up tonight, showing fireworks. Later that night, where's 4 Extra? Wrapped up with half his fingers gone. Please, you gotta be careful with what you're doing, man. Please.
100 firefighters to knock down those flames.
You're sleeping in your house, waiting for 4th of July, to come.
How you sleeping and waiting?
Boom, you come outside, your neighbor's house is on fire.
Firefighters say many of the fireworks involved in these incidents are being sold out of people's private garages and homes, and they don't know how to handle them or even store them. They're encouraging folks this holiday, obviously, to leave the fireworks to the professionals.
Just to get, not to get off topic or anything, but I'm gonna stay on topic. I remember when our state totally went black with fireworks. Like you couldn't even buy little kids fireworks. Like there was this law passed that they hadn't talked about, or they couldn't come to an agreement with, so they just blacked fireworks out for that year. Except for, our downtown fireworks. They could shoot them, but we couldn't. So we went to Holiday World one time, so we passed through Kentucky, and I scooped up helly fireworks. We were in a van, bro. I had this van loaded down with fireworks, bro. We were smoking and everything in that motherfucker. We were like, make sure you don't flip no ashes, man. No ashes get flipped, or we're jumping out this motherfucker. Straight up. Oh, man, let me get back to the net. Let me get back to the Goofy Goober. Which was I on? Which one was I on? I'm waiting for the channel build giveaway. Until he does a channel build giveaway, I'll never take him seriously. Never. Until he does his big channel build giveaway, I will never take Netstar serious ever again. I can't. I cannot. I got him. I just got to bring him up. That's what I did too. That's what I did too. Oh yeah, we're right back.
Your ears, because there's a bunch of shit going on, and I ain't gonna lie, there's some irresponsible motherfuckers out there. That's why you gotta keep your head on the swivel so won't no shits happen to you. You feel me? But it's like, man, these is our days. We gotta get it while we can get it, man. July 4th is a big day for the Native American culture.
I fell asleep. I'm not even gonna lie.
My aunties and cousins and all them, they got fireworks stands. I know they out there right now making a killing. Making a killing. I used to come up there and just
there
have
ain't no money in fireworks, man.
Shit and just get all the shit I needed for
there is no money in fireworks.
Of course, there's no charge, but it's like,
I mean, you can make slow money, but it ain't no fast. It ain't big money. You gotta be doing it big.
I got enough to blow up my car. But I take that shit back, and I have that shit'll last. This is what I really would try to do, is make it last till New Year's. Then that way, when New Year's come, I got a little bit of shit I can light out for New Year's. And of course, when you get older and your kids grow up and shit, you don't too much worry about them type of holidays. And like I said, at the end of the day, when you look at it in retrospect,
when your kids grow up,
was really the beginning of the end as we knew it. It was like the last of the Mohicans had begun. But in this day and culture, you know, the thing is we have learned to transition and financially take advantage of whatever it is that the let's just say the majority of the people that are here are participating.
Did he say that when you as you grow older that stops? Nah, man. July 4th never gets old. Not even for the kids. Nope. No.
In. You know, we just sell what they need, you know.
Dude, in my neighborhood after the fireworks started going off, because I kind of fell asleep. I wasn't out there for it. I said, fuck it. They start blasting the guns. Blah, 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 blah. He's Muslim, so the 4th of July doesn't mean the same thing. That might be right. What's up? A-hole. He wants you to go in there. What? Dude, I don't know much about Muslim holidays. Do they even celebrate the 4th? They don't give a fuck about the 4th, do they? 4th don't mean none to them. And the 4th don't mean nothing to an Indian either. Right? Why would you celebrate the 4th if you're an Indian? That's the independence of our country. I don't get that at all. You're supposed to be an Indian. Your land was stolen. I don't know. Who says they didn't steal the land too? We don't know. All this is about all these fights,
fireworks, whatever it is, we got
all these fights
so we
about
get our
race.
money, you know. So
Pause,
according to,
motherfucker.
I'm trying to find out if it's this where we located at.
Like all these fights about race and all this shit, and we were here first, and we were here first, and you took the land, you took the land. None of us even know. None of us. We're just being told that what we're being told is the truth. Like, there could have been people here before the Indians. Right? We don't know. Cavemen, all kinds of shit. So land was stolen everywhere.
I've been up on the deck a few times with you guys, and they
said that every piece of land that's in the world was overtaken by people that didn't live there first. Isn't that weird? That every piece of land in the world was overtaken by other land. Like Russians weren't the Russians that are there now. Russians were overtaken by, like, it's wild, bro.
Usually have a fireworks show right there on the bay, which is what you see in the background here, circulating behind me. That's the bay. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
that's
guys.
Like, Puget Sound.
Hey, guys,
So
you would never guess who's back.
Where our building's located, you could see it swinging around.
You would never guess who's back, chat.
And you could see everything.
You would never guess who's back. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. We're back in action, yo. Shout out to Brandy, man. Do your thing, man. Make your money on here. Who gives a fuck who's talking about you? Who gives a fuck who has something to say? Fuck me too. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Hey, I don't care. You can talk any shit you want about me. I don't care. I am immune to what the internet thinks of me. Because they're gonna think it anyway. I don't care. But I'm immune to it. Hey, 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 we're back. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, I'll be on it. I'm just saying this. All I'm saying is this. I don't have a beef with Brandy as far as like personal. Like, I don't want her channel taken down. I don't want her to lose money on YouTube. I don't want her to do all that. Stay making money on YouTube, bro. You were making more than me. Your ad revenue was way more than me. I guarantee it. I guarantee it, bro. She had triple the people I did. So, like, that makes up for my cash apps to your ad revenue. But, like, don't let nobody tell you not to fucking do your thing, bro. Fuck these people.
But they like to keep the security tight, you know, and I appreciate it. Keep it tight. You know, we don't need no weirdos up there on the fucking 12th floor trying to do funny shit and jump the fuck off and all that old funny shit. So it's really tight. I don't know, but hopefully we'll be getting some content up out of there and just be looking at like what Seattle looks like on the 4th of July. So I want to just speak about what everybody else been talking about. But when I thought about it in retrospect. I said, you know what? I had this discussion with Behind the Bar. Shout out to them, man.
Bing! One name drop. I wish you guys had a counter.
I had this discussion with them, you know, way back when we were talking about Hassan Campbell and how he was like, Cassie gotta, you know, she better, if she do anything that has something to do with, you know, testifying and all that shit, and he was talking hard on her, you know.
No, you said we. You said we. You see how he does that? Watch, I'll show you. You said we were talking, and then you went to he.
We were talking about Hassan Campbell.
You hear that? We were talking about Hassan Campbell.
And how he was like, Cassie gotta, you know, she better, if she do anything that has something to do with, you know, testifying and all that shit, and he was talking hard on her, you know. So we talking about Cassie Ventura, you know, she just went through the whole trial, you know what I'm saying, and she turned out to be
Damn, Behind the Bar. Did Behind the Bar exile him too? Yeah, tell Behind the Bar to hit me up. I'll talk to him. I ain't got no problem. I'll talk to him. Dude just drops names like he knows these people and shit. Watch this. Watch this. He goes on further. He goes on further.
Star witness. Now, if you guys remember how this started, she wasn't even supposed to be testifying. I mean, Diddy gave her like, I mean, it's estimated what, from 30 to 50, 60 million?
Excuse me, sir. You're dead wrong. Excuse me, sir. you're dead wrong. Did he say she wasn't even supposed to be testifying? Oh, I'm sure, Spider-Man. Or something else. Who knows? That's very weird. I mean, you can see when the weirdness goes down. It's just out of character. When people do things out of character or any other character, you notice it. You definitely notice it. But like I said, you weren't even supposed to be testifying. He gave you 30 million. Bro, that's the feds. That NDA don't mean anything when the feds come. You have to talk. It's probably written in that DNA. It's probably written in that NDA. Dead serious. Probably written in that NDA that you have to talk if the feds come knocking at your door over this. It definitely ain't in there that you can't talk about it. I guarantee you that. So like all that, like you have to talk, bro. You can't just say, "Oh, I signed an NDA. I can't talk about it." Puffy gave me 30 million. I can't discuss it with you, police.
For a non-disclosure, don't speak on none.
That means
Yet
anyone
still,
else.
this was the conversation that
That
me
means
made.
that means if it's ever brung up in court, they have to throw it out because they've already signed a non-disclosure. You disclosure. You understand what that do you even understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? Do you even understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, sir?
In a philosopher had. I'm gonna play a cut by a philosopher.
Oh man, here he goes with another name drop. See, this is what NetStars does. This is what NetStars does. Somebody will hit him up and be like, "Hey, bro, I'm playing music. I'm playing music, bro. If you follow me, I'll follow you back." That's what NetStars does. And then he'll come up here and act like he knows that person and that they've done business or that they're homies. You know why? Because Philosopher hit me up with the same thing. Good dude. He's a good guy. I'm not saying nothing wrong about him. But why are you name dropping him like, I mean, that's probably what Philosopher wants, but you don't know the man. Like, you just trying to get in where you fit in, bro. And you don't even fit in. I prove everything, man. I prove everything. That's what you do, bro. Shout out to Philosopher. Go check him out on YouTube, bro. He does music. But you don't know him. You ain't networking with him. You ain't like gross, bro.
Later on here too, he got music coming out on the regular. This one kind of got me. I said, okay, I'm playing this one tonight. But so we
Did
had
it
this
get
conversation.
you? Didn't this one kind of got you? Did it get you in your feelings?
You know, and it was like real shit. If you think about it, you know, Hassan was right on a lot of shit. You know, when like, you know, she ain't got no business even thinking about testifying. You know what I'm saying? Because if first of all, you got the money, okay. Once you took the money, you know, that meant that you have nothing to say. You have nothing to say. You took the money. There was an agreement. It was non-disclosure. You know what I'm saying? And you know, from what we could see, that's what initiated the whatever civil actions were going to come through, right? That kind of put a damper on any of that because she's already signed off, but she wasn't supposed to testify.
Yes,
And
she
this was the
is.
conversation.
She is allowed to testify in court, bro. What do you mean she wasn't supposed to testify? What do you mean? She wasn't supposed to testify. You could simply Google this and it would tell you. Yes, she has to testify. Or yes, she can testify. This is a criminal suit, not a civil suit. Criminal. Changes the whole aspect.
Was me and man was like, I was like, but so
Look,
what if
another
the
name
feds
drop.
come
Me and Maine.
say,
Me. Yeah, me and Maine.
that money you
Weird,
got,
bro.
we're gonna consider that money part of the enterprise, and we're gonna take that money. That was what my back thinking was like. You know, you got a bunch of money from Diddy just before all this shit popped off.
Money
And so
doesn't
now
make the
you got all
trauma
this
go away.
money,
Nope.
and you don't want to test.
Yeah, he thought that, you know, here's your money. You ain't supposed to testify on me. What? If the cops think they got a case on you and you still pay me all money, I'm gonna go ahead and still try to fucking testify on you. Who thinks like this? Who thinks like this?
Somebody, we might just have to somehow encompass you into the trial as not a witness, but as a defendant.
No, he played
And we're gonna
guilty.
take the money. And I was telling them, I said, man, she gonna end up testifying, bro, because
He
that
just
money.
played guilty. He didn't have to go to court. He just played guilty.
Money is up for grabs, to be honest. It's not a gimme. You know, that's a lot of money. And you know, when the feds want to take your money, they can take your money. And so, lo and behold, as it all panned out, she was the star witness. Her and what they call what was her name? She had a
Jane Doe. But everybody knows her name. Jane Doe. But everybody knows who she is. She just went on record as Jane Doe.
courtroom name where nobody really knew who she
A
was,
courtroom
right?
name.
But she was similar to going through what
A
everybody
courtroom
got.
name. But this motherfucker was talking about being around prostitutes and shit when he was doing his thing. But don't know what Jane Doe is. Jane Doe is for someone that doesn't want to give their name, like John Doe, or someone that doesn't have a name, or someone they give until they figure out your name, like a toe tag, John Doe, till we figure out who this motherfucker is. He's John Doe.
A good idea who it was, but it's like they both came in as supposedly being star witnesses under one of the major RICO indictments. You know, one of those indictments that was going to get supposedly Diddy cooked. You know,
I'm going to say this. Net you should probably quit using multiple words in a row that end with S. Like, because indictments goes past, like, because, like, people can't understand what you're saying, bro. They're all kind of leading together. Right? Like, or indictments, those indictments, those indictments. Yeah,
So
don't do
20 to
that.
life. So it's like you didn't have a lot of choices, you know what I'm saying, to work with, other than either she was gonna have to come up and show up with the feds. I'm just putting, narrative in here because this is the only way that I felt like that she would testify regardless if Diddy gave her all that money. That the feds are gonna be like, look, you ain't gonna keep that money unless you go up there and testify.
Watch. People are gonna. Brandy's gonna say that I was stalking her page, and that's how I found out she was back. And that's not true. That's not true at all. Okay? I want you guys to understand that. You see, I got an email that says my channel memberships have started back up for applying pressure. That's how I knew her channel started back up. It's kind of that simple, man. I don't need to stalk or, like, you guys are nerds.
Otherwise, we're gonna take it and you're not gonna be
I
you're not
can't
gonna
make
be a witness,
everything
you're gonna be
about
a
her, though, y'all.
defendant.
Here's the thing.
And lo and behold,
Here's the thing. If I make everything about these idiots, which Brandy can take a back burner, I'm gonna roast this idiot if he wants it. But they tell, they rat, they snitch, they report you. They'll have your channel taken down in a heartbeat, bro. In a heartbeat. Yes. Yes. I'm not like on her neck to where I'm going to be like mean and I'm coming after her. But if she does low cow shit, bro, I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it.
oh, she became a witness. All right. Now, we don't know how, it was all gonna turn out at that time. I sure didn't. But I did feel like, you know, Diddy had a lot of top, lawyers, and there were a lot of incentives for people to stay loyal to him. And a lot of times when people ain't talking, that's kind of like a sign of, well, I ain't gonna say nothing that's gonna give you up, and I ain't gonna say nothing that's gonna help you. But by me not saying nothing that's gonna get you be given up, that's gonna help you. 'Cause right now, the only thing they really got is guys talking, and so they played her out.
That's not the only thing they got.
Salute, AD. Salute.
Salute, bro.
Yo, like this. The NDNA it's a public thing, meaning she couldn't write a book, she couldn't do a
Yeah.
documentary, she can't talk to nobody about it. But
She
like you
can't
said,
even file another charge on it. She can't file another
right,
civil suit.
right, that's done. But like you
She
said,
can't,
once
like, her testimony in the civil suit couldn't even been brung up in someone else's
it's
civil suit.
no, but like you said, once it became a criminal case, not a civil, she could be held obstructing justice. They could hit her with all type of stuff.
Yeah.
So the NDNA doesn't protect it, just it protects the person from
Being sued
spreading
again.
to and speaking to the public.
Yeah. She
She
can't
didn't
talk
speak to
about
the
what
public.
she sued for, what she
Right,
got, what she claimed he did. She can't talk about
right.
none of it to
So
anybody. And if
it
he
just
does,
goes to
he takes all that money back plus some.
but it just goes to show that even at his age, he still is not using. You know, they say we only use 10% of our brain. It seemed like he ain't even using that 10%. Then the question is, you talking about, you know, fire? Why wasn't you on the reservation last night blowing it down? Because I was blowing it down in front of the crib. So I don't know, right? So, and like you said, all this name dropping. So let me clarify this for you, Porky. Behind the bar called me. I didn't call him. And I'm not saying I don't, but what I'm telling you is Thursday morning, before, yo, me and him was on the phone for 30 minutes, bro. Just chopping it up. Chopping it up. You is a bozo.
Yeah.
He thinks you're a joke. I want you to know that. He thinks you're a fucking joke. You old, decrepit, disgusting human carcass. Because you're not even a being. You dead. You dead inside, bro. You dead. Your channel is dead. You need to talk about me, AD, and Lucky to even get views.
Yeah.
This nasty conversation you had went nowhere. You ain't even break 100
Nowhere.
views yet. You ain't, so
No.
like I said,
Only
you
people
work
that viewed it were us.
you work for us now, pussy. Get
Yep.
on your job, spread the word, get them views up, nigga.
Yeah.
Stupid ass. How
That
it
was
feel?
fire. That was fire. That was fire.
So bad. They played all of the DMs. Ain't that somehow DMs is becoming so prevalent now? So prevalent. DMs are a factor.
Hold on. Did we even go over his last video that he did? Hold
This
on.
is
I'm gonna
it.
look at
I
I'm
think this
just
is the
like, from
last
now
one we
on, I'm
did.
keep a receipt. I'll keep a fucking receipts, man. And they tell you, you have to let people know you're being recorded. You know
No,
what I'm
you don't.
saying?
No,
Can't
you
just
don't.
record people.
No, you don't. There's lots of states where it's only one party. Only one of you need to
Yeah.
know. Yeah, there's tons of them, dude, and it's becoming more and more that are fucking jumping on that board because you guys motherfucking are scammers and fucking leeches and fucking pieces of shit. That's the truth.
And not tell them and then think you're going to play that shit somewhere down the line. You could be sued for that shit, first of all. And in the legal proceedings, you could be looking at some kind of
Man, shut up about suing.
jail time, or become something that's inadmissible, But
Listen, anything you come on,
Cassidy,
anything you say on the World Wide Web
I wanna
can
put
be
this on
can be
you real
used
quick.
against you. This ain't. I don't need no.
This
I don't need your
statement
permission
from
to
the
play this
lawyer
back.
of Cassie.
No, no,
None at all.
we don't need to put up
And
curtain. We don't need like all that curtain shit that they do. Well, let me pull down the curtain to watch this. You don't need to do that because you still ran the video. If you could copyright claim it, that person could copyright claim it even though you had a curtain up. You still ran the video. Your topic was about their video. You couldn't get around it. You would be nailed for copyright fucking infringement, right? But instead, you stupid motherfuckers put a curtain up or something stupid over it, like you're blocking them from thinking that you're not running their video or something. It's the fact that you're not. You have to stop it. You have to react to it. Sometimes you can't play the whole video. Sometimes you're not supposed to play the whole video. Like if I'm reacting to a 2-hour video, the best practice is not to play their whole video. Just chop it up and react to what you want to of it. But like you would never win in court with that. Like if you sued me and I chopped your video, if I chopped your 2-hour video up into a 3-hour long commentary, but I only used an hour of your video, you would never win in court, bro. Because I've transformed your content into my content. Mine's 3 hours and I've only used an hour of your content. Because trust me, they'll go back and they'll find out exactly how many minutes you used, where you started, where you stopped here, started again, stopped. Oh, they'll do all that. They'll do all that. There's been like 3 people in the whole wide world that ever won for copyright infringement, bro. 3. It's not great. I'm sure you could Google it. How many people have ever won for copyright infringement? It is impossible to give a precise number. It isn't tracked, so they don't even track it.
Started raining.
Oh, you got rain down there? It's about that time in Florida.
Oh, it's been raining, bro. We in the rain
Yeah.
season every day, every day, every day.
Yeah, when I went to Florida, it rained every day. About 2 o'clock p.m. Stopped about 3 p.m.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was hot as fuck the next rest of the day.
Oh yeah. After the rain, it gets hot.
For real.
Ventura, and he kind of gives up some feeling as to what she is feeling right now. So before I get into it, he's on. I'm gonna have to probably drop the curtains on this side.
Drop
I
the
believe,
curtains.
just to keep
Drop the
everything in
curtains.
perspective.
As
Let
if
me tell you something, man. Ain't Cassie fine as fuck?
Dude, you're
God
65 years old,
That is
lusting over a 21-year-old
bad
there.
female.
Right, right.
If I was
That
Diddy,
woman is
I'd be
like
like, man, I don't
21
want
years old, though,
nobody
dude.
touching you. That's me. That would be something I have to,
No,
put
you
some
too
weight on.
heavy-handed with the
So
women,
that's just
sir.
how I feel,
He said,
Especially if she
"Would
was,
no woman."
kind of freaky and whatever,
Yeah. He said, "Would nobody
Whatever,
touch that
there's no
me?"
reason
He
why you
would be all
cannot be
fucking.
satisfied with this. So
Yeah, you're a
whatever
little
else
too
going on
heavy.
with Diddy, man, it's obviously some weirdo shit in his head, but it's his
Yeah.
life, and evidently it wasn't that big of a deal, according to the jury. It's like, hey, man, he's a grown consensual adult.
Oh, you like that, don't you?
What they
Consensual.
proved is that there were other people that were consensual. Those DMs.
Oh,
When he read DMs,
you're using my talking point.
you were some of this. You was at.
He took a talking point, bro.
Of course he does.
JMG.
AD. He don't have his own. Like he's up here talking about her testifying and having an NDA when all he had to do was go to Google and see the parameters of what an NDA protects the person from versus what it doesn't. But he's too fucking dumb.
Yeah.
He's
He
too
just
dumb.
should have.
Where's Helmet Boy? Helmet Boy, where you been at? Where you been at?
He's hiding. He
No,
knows
I'm
what
just
kind
saying.
of shit he
Yeah,
set off.
exactly. You know what you came on here and said, right? You know what you came on here and said. So where you at? Why you
Yep.
hiding? I ain't been to the police like your uncle went and put papers on Willie. I ain't been there yet. I'm waiting for y'all. But I had you know what you said, right? So tread lightly and tell Fat Man get the views up. Me and AD need more subs. Me, AD,
Yeah.
and Phoenix more subs. Keep talking and get the views. Stop talking about this because nobody don't want to hear about that. Not from you
Yeah, we're
anyway.
done with the Diddy. Why is my internet acting this way, man? Jesus Christ, bro.
asking for in regards to these two young ladies. You are asking for it. So it's like we gotta
Hey, chat. Good
take
morning.
this into
Happy 4th of
consideration. It
July.
wasn't really somebody that's being so-called marketed, you know what I mean, slave men or any of that, sex trafficking. You're a grown adult, and they proved it. She did not win that particular case for the feds. Them was
I
the
don't
ones
think she
that
was
got
there to
dropped.
do that,
Them
dude.
was the ones that they was found now
And I don't even
guilty
think
of.
that's why she signed the ND and the non-disclosure. It's not because of that. It's because of just the whole parameters of what came out.
Yeah.
His personal life.
You know, I think she wanted the money because she probably went through some hell, but it was very clear that what she went through, a lot of it, she wanted it. You know, it came out in court, man, in a few different persons' texts, like his phone, her phone, other people's phone. Like people were falling. A sex worker is suing her, bro, and Diddy for her lying on stand about the sex worker. Like these people
See?
are all involved with lying on Diddy, and just because they were doing the same things he was. I don't think any of them are innocent. I honestly don't. And if there was anything to do with children, she was involved too. She was involved too, man. That's my only thing, man. Like, and she got out with some money. Don't get me wrong. And God bless her soul, she got out with some money. But I just feel like a lot of people were lying on Diddy, bro. I do, especially that little Rod dude. He's something else. He's a liar.
So my question is now, and I noticed nobody said anything about this. Man, if you catch up with this one,
Maine,
Man, if you
Maine,
catch up with this
Maine,
trend,
Maine, behind your bar, behind the bar. Maine ain't watching you, bro. He's got 1,000 other things on YouTube to do, bud.
Sean.
Content creators have a problem watching other content creators. It's just that. It's hard to do. When you're a full-time content creator like Maine is, he's usually not surfing the fucking web to find out. He's got his own show to figure out.
we had this conversation
We had
about
this
this money.
conversation.
Do Cassie need to run back Diddy?
It's does Cassie need to run back Diddy's money? No, she don't, because he paid it fair and square. They didn't even go to trial, stupid. What are you talking about? He gave it to her within 24 hours.
Yep.
It's money
Stupid.
now.
What an
But
idiotic thing to say.
she didn't stick to the agreement. She didn't stick to the non-disclosure.
You're an idiot. You're a fucking full-blown idiot.
This is
When
the
you're
same man.
subpoenaed,
Right. Tell him, AD, when you subpoenaed.
you subpoenaed by the federal government to come and testify before the grand jury. Ain't nothing an
You going,
NDA can do to stop it.
yeah, you about to go to jail. You took that bullshit NDA. All right, man. Remand him to the custody of the court. Mhm. Sit down and think about what you talking about. All right, we're gonna talk later.
Oh, you signed an NDA, so you can't talk better yet? Okay, bye. You're going
Yeah,
to jail.
You got
yeah,
paid,
90
we
days.
don't know, somewhere 30 to 50 million for whatever happened, just to say, okay, I sympathize for you. I mean, they was together for 10 years, and how they was together really is like their business, but
Yeah,
some of the
yeah.
stuff is off the chain. Of course, obviously the hotel scene and the fighting and all the domestic shit, it's off the chain. So yeah, he's answering for that, but
Them boys ain't got no nuts, Phoenix. Let me tell you when I find out they have nuts. Fly they asses to Indianapolis. Drive they asses to Indianapolis. Record the whole thing like I did. Pull up just like I did, and see they have some nuts.
did he get found guilty of all the shit they said? No. Did he give her all that money to keep her from you know, going public with all this shit? Yes. So my
Pause him
question
right
is
there.
now
Pause him right there. Pause him right there.
is he
He
entitled to
just
say, you
answered
know
his own
what?
question.
As soon as
I
my
need for you
fucking
to run
internet
that
starts
back.
working again, dog.
So we're gonna listen to some of the shit that the
But he just answered his own question, AD.
Go
He
ahead,
gave
dog.
her all that money to not go public. She didn't go public. She went federal, dumbass.
Mm-mm. Hmm.
Go public. This ain't a tell-all
And it
book.
still wasn't public.
No.
Federal wasn't public. They didn't have the cameras in there.
Nope.
They had a stupid ass person drawing shit that wasn't even that good.
Right. And
Whoever their
then on top
artist
of that
was,
too,
find a new one.
if think about when they denied him his bond, what the judge said, what one of the factors was there was evidence that
Domestic violence.
not only that, but there was evidence that what wasn't privy to even the jurors, but it was privy to the judge.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still things that we don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
So how? So this is what I'm saying. Yeah, this is yo. You sound so dumb, bro. Don't nobody take any type of advice from this idiot. You better off going to Chat GPT and asking Chat what to
the lawyer had to say
let me use
in
the restroom real
regards
quick, dog.
to
Hold it down.
statements in
Yeah,
behalf of Cassie.
And now I understand, Aaron, a statement has been given on behalf of Cassie Ventura, star witness in this case. What are you learning?
Her attorney, Doug Wigdor, just sent us the following statement. This entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. And Kira, we should say that's true. The criminal investigation is largely based on the statements in Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, and intensified, of course, once video from the 2016 hotel security camera became public. The statement from Doug Wigdor, her attorney, goes on to say, although the jury did not find Combs guilty of sex trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie's attorney, Doug Wigdor, goes on to say, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client, who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She testified for 4 days, often quite emotionally so, giving graphic, explicit detail of what she said
put
she
that
was made to
sunshine
do.
on that boy.
And
That
Sean
she did.
Combs did not deny the facts of the freak-offs. Everything that
Cassie
happened in
probably
those
got
hotel
that
rooms
sunshine.
did not
That
get
Harlem Nights
challenged
crew.
by the defense. The defense simply saw it differently as something that went on in a personal, consensual relationship, not.
Okay. So there it is, the personal consensual relationship, which was detailed through a lot of them DMs. Okay. So Cassie somewhere erased the line and made it a gray area between being a victim and being a volunteer, because the jury didn't believe her.
You not
But
know.
this
The
is
last
what
person he gave
once
advice to
again we have to
is
ask, right?
now not coming back on YouTube because after your
No, she's
advice,
back.
he came up with. No. I'm talking about Gay Illusions.
Oh
You
yeah,
advised him to us, right? And you
yeah,
ain't tell him the rules of engagement, right? You
yeah.
just so
He didn't tell him.
you like an untrained attorney. You ain't tell your clients.
He didn't tell. He
Don't
didn't tell. Illusions or LH Security that the rules of engagement are changed once you go internet.
right. So you know
You
you
think
about to get
Nick
caught in
got a
contempt.
2-inch penis? I wouldn't even give him that, bro. Because you got to go so far up in there to find it. You got
Probably.
to really get up in there, bro.
Yeah, he got issues. He got all types of issues. Bro.
Yeah. On the floor.
Now, okay, so you heard that the civil case came first. They settled it.
Somewhere where the cat
Sean
got it.
settled that within 24
Whoa,
hours.
civil
He
case never
already
came.
said, here's the money.
Cassie never
10
sued
years
him
of
civil.
being with you is worth it.
It's called what?
She didn't sue him to get that money.
He offered her
He get
10 million.
yeah. She turned it down, and she said she was going to go public, and that's when he gave her the money.
Yeah.
She never took him to court. She
It
threatened
comes.
him. She threatened to go public.
Yeah. That's when he said she did go
Yeah,
public. She filed a lawsuit
that's
in
what, okay.
public.
She filed it, and immediately he paid her
4
off.
hours later, he paid her to fuck off. Like, oh shit, she went public.
So they never went to court though.
Nope.
That's
Nope.
the point. She
You're
filed, but
Diddy.
it's just like when
But
he filed the paperwork on Willie. He filed it, but the judge threw it out.
yeah. So
It
if
never
you're
made it to
Diddy,
court.
let me ask you this, along with the
Mhm.
people in the chat too. This question goes for you too as well. If you're
Yeah.
Diddy, do you pay off everyone that's filed lawsuits on you? Or do you say, fuck you, I won in court, I ain't paying none of you?
Yeah, I ain't paying nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I'm paying none of you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to court. I ain't paying
Yeah,
nothing.
let's go to court because they didn't even prove the worst shit on me in court, in criminal court. The feds,
Right.
the fucking Southern District. I wouldn't pay anyone. Shout out to you too, because I wouldn't pay anyone either. That buck would stop now. Because once you stop paying people, they're gonna drop their cases once they find out. Oh fuck, I gotta go in front of the fucking jury. Because it's gonna be just like fucking Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Right.
All of them will be, and they ain't gonna want to get up there and look that dumb, bro. Lil Rod looks stupid as fuck on academics. Imagine what Brian Steele's gonna do to him. Oh man, he has no clue.
I mean, I keep looking at her like, damn, you were worth with 10 years. I mean, like I said, I would have never wanted to see her with
Good call,
nobody
man.
else, just me. But yet still, so she got the money, right? But it was required
You got a goal up.
for her
You got a
to
goal
hold
up.
up
Think at the chat
and have a non-disclosure to all of
show
that.
some
This is
love
where
if you
we're
want to show
seeing,
AD some love, man.
you
I don't
know,
really have a personal goal up. I want to start thinking of some goals that we can do. You know, have some fun goals. Like maybe smash a pie in my face or something one day. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go. I wouldn't pay anyone either, Kev. I wouldn't.
the possible future of does he get his money back? Because you didn't stick to the terms of the
He
agreement.
doesn't get his
I haven't
money.
heard nobody speak about this. I spoke about this to Behind the Bar. We was on the panel together. As a matter of fact, they came on to my panel. And
I'm gonna get back in bed when I get off here. 100%. I'm getting back in bed. But like, you can't get back any money that you signed away because she signed a non-disclosure. You're a fucking idiot. I would take this video down. I would take this video down. Straight up.
we talked about this, right? And it was like, man, and we was playing the stuff that, you know, Hassan Campbell was like saying, like, man, if she get up there and do all that, she gotta go. I'm like, son, you saying and doing too much, bro. You say she gotta go. But the fact is that there's a legal thing, probably looming. You didn't live up to the terms just based.
You're an idiot. There's no legal thing looming. If you sign an NDA and the feds come to you and want everything you know, you have to give it to them. I'm sorry to tell you, you can't look them in the face and say, I signed an NDA. You're a fucking idiot.
On what we see on paper. Okay, we don't know what's going on in between. Some might be like,
are NDAs upholdable against a criminal suit? No. Non-disclosure agreements are not a defense. They're civil contracts, you fucking idiot. They're civil contracts. That means they can't use it to sue him. They can't use it to come back and use it to sue him. They can't use what that's why they didn't use what she wrote. They just asked her questions. That's all they did. You are a idiot. Full blown. You should be the mascots for the team idiots.
I'm just glad I got up out of this shit and, not really.
You gotta be the fucking mascot for idiots, bro.
Might have went through because at a lot of points it seemed like that she was a volunteer and not a victim, and they proved it.
Sex trafficking, and that's how the outcome is reflected now, Kira.
Bernard, I want to go on to read another part of that statement on behalf of Cass.
But you didn't take the curtains down. You still have this 23-year-old Cassie up there as you're 65 talking about. You can't even get your dick hard, motherfucker. You ain't fucking nothing. You can't even get your dick hard. You just want women to blow fucking meth smoke on it. Can't even get your dick
As
hard.
something that went on in a personal, consensual relationship, not sex trafficking. And that's how the outcome is reflected now, Kira.
Bernard, I want to go on to read another part of that statement on behalf of Cassie Ventura's attorney, saying she displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussion. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors. Two things that stood out to me: powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that persists, and change that is long overdue. Your thoughts?
Power and money. You can buy yourself out of a conviction. Let's be honest, that if Sean Combs wasn't able to.
So they think hi, kitty. You talk to them haters, kitty. Talk to them haters. Tell them, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. You couldn't donate to this guy? Oh, Will Feller, look at him. He don't get fed or nothing. Quit. I'm fighting with you.
Here we go.
You better
so he bought himself out of conviction. I don't know how. That's kind of contradictory to what happened. You know what I mean? Because
but you played it. She said,
somehow he paid for those text messages and all those DMs that were revealed that weren't insightful of what these so-called alleged victims were intentions were. Then where do we say that that money has something to do with that? I mean, if you take the money,
like right behind the screen,
then that makes you somewhat of a willing, compatible person to a particular situation. They were taking the money. They were getting on planes. They were living their best life. They were partying, talking about how much they enjoyed stuff, how much they enjoyed. They were being, picking and choosing who they wanted to be with. All this stuff came out. This is what I seen, as far as the actual process and the breakdown of some of the juries, they're like, yeah, it's just a hard case for them to prove that shit, and it did. It prevailed in the end that you guys were more like participants.
Come here.
You could have been even considered, and I said this before when I was talking with the bar and them guys out. I mean,
Another drop behind the bar again.
Up appointments,
behind the bar,
booking rooms, flying people in. They were handling all of the groundwork for the freak offs. When you came to the mansion and they knocked on the door, that these ladies were opening the door, sending you back into room number 3 or whatever. Once the party got going, grab your baby oil.
What room you want to be in?
They got all the little condiments for you. You know what I'm saying? They were hosting. They were a part of this, and so that's what I believe that they were looking at. Like, are you going to be a witness, or are you going to be, somebody that we're going to be trying you for, and that's what they had to make a choice.
What?
The feds know how to squeeze.
What?
This woman here, of course, she's an advocate, and I'm not mad at her. I mean, she's speaking, but does it apply to this? Is this her truth? Is this part of what's going on here? Well, I think the jury spoke, and I think those DMs and the messages spoke. These ladies were enjoying themselves and participant, and also taking advantage of
participant. It's participate.
And with it, the money,
it's not
all
participant,
of the extras, the whatever, floated their boat. They was getting it. So it's like, this was a tough case.
To get the team that he got and pay for that defense team and experts and investigators to help defend himself, that we would have had a different outcome today.
Okay,
but money and power.
So an average Joe that can't pay for a defense team like Diddy did is fucked, right? That's what you're saying. Because just because P. Diddy had the money to come up with a nice defense team, that's the reason he won? There still was 12 jurors, bro. 12 jurors that come back and said not guilty.
Or that you can still get away with crime.
I mean, ain't you entitled to the best attorney? I mean, if you're going up against, let's just say this. I'm not being no advocate for none of the weirdo shit that was going on. What I'm saying is, if you're coming with that what they call that South District down there, the federal investigation circuit and all that shit over there in New York.
Southern District of New York.
These are the best in the world. You're looking at the best in the world, and their win rate is like 98.9%. It's like, come on, man. You're facing the best. And Sean was lucky enough to have the resources to fight back with the best. That's what made it an even ball game. And they were able to expose a lot of the weaknesses. And a lot of people are saying that the prosecution team and the investigators was slacking on their napkin. They weren't really going hard. There's some of the stuff that they left that they could have addressed that they didn't. And it's also being considered that they were reaching, that it wasn't what they were saying it was. I mean, let's face it, do they tend to do?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it was or not. Truthfully, I don't know. Well, I've been on here almost 2 hours, y'all. Y'all have a beautiful day, man. I'll be back tonight with a great topic. I want y'all to be here, be engaged, be ready to roll. Well, what's tonight? Saturday? I don't know if I'll be back tonight. Saturday nights are kind of fucking hit and miss with the people, But I love y'all, man. If I do, I'll let y'all know. I appreciate y'all, man. Enjoy your guys' day. Don't be a net stars. Don't copy off what everybody's doing. Don't drop names. I was on this guy's channel. I was on that guy's channel. And you lost for it. Motherfucker, quit gobbling everybody's nuts.
I gon' come with safety. The only time I'm safe is when I'm dangerous. Posted in the 30 with this 30, trying to leave them brainless. We still in the jets, exactly where them boys say we ain't hanging. Put cheese on my head, I come collect that shit. You think I'm playing? Trouble hop out bustin' at it, brother. Miss you know I'm hitting. We got O's and Bo's in here, and we got wood cook in the kitchen. If I say go get them, they go get them. Young boy fingers itching, fingers squeezing on the trigger. They heard all them glitches glitches. Money man, I run it up. If I fall off, I'm poking shit. Told that bitch quit asking questions. I hate all that notice shit. We send shots the whole year round, no ring around the road and shit. Mala bro, he makes you vanish. He with hocus pocus shit. Chopper bus, they hit the ground. It's too many sticks around. We known to get greasy, pussy. Don't you have your bitch around? Switch up on this bitch. I catch him deep, get a whole click around. Put us in the mission shit that we ain't do. We spinning now. Bitch keep trying to tell me slide. Think she trying to set the pick. Other hoes been tripping, texting my bitch on that message shit. Left a bro out there with his brains out. Yeah, that's that message shit. Bought another Glock. Let's catch a